Tales from the Front Desk. I Coulda Let Them Struggle by Angela Is Not My Name. Currently in my hotel, there's a family occupying about 5 or 6 rooms. They claim they're here because they can't go home due to bad weather, but they've been here about a month, so I call BS on that. Regardless, they've been here paying for their stay day by day. None of them have a clear idea of when they're leaving, so they just keep playing it by ear. They haven't been a huge nuisance. There's just a lot of them, and I get a little overstimulated with them. This coming Wednesday, we are due to have 86 check-ins. Our hotel has 97 rooms. With the rooms already scheduled to be in-house, we are left with exactly 1 room left to sell. This does not include our 6-room family. The front desk has been making new reservations for them every day. Since every other day, they want to pay with a different card. New reservations for them just made billing easier. I thought it would be a good idea to share with the family so they can plan their next move. I spoke with the older man in the group, since he's been paying for some of the days. I let him know the situation, and to my surprise, he was pissed. We've been staying at this hotel, spending all this money, and y'all are just going to kick us out? Stunned, I tried to explain to him that these reservations were made in advance. It's a large group coming in, and we have no wiggle room whatsoever. Well, we are a big group too, and we pay every day. But that's okay. We'll leave on the 29th and never come back. To make things worse, the waiter in the restaurant overheard him fussing and came to talk to me about it. Y'all are kicking them out of the hotel? That's messed up, man. That man pays for everything. You could have gave him advance notice. That's bad business. 4 whole damn days is plenty of notice for people who don't know what they're going to do day to day. I guess his reaction is mild compared to what could have happened the day of. Tales from the Front Desk number 2. Guest Gave Me Soup by Rainbow Archer 1975. Was working a night shift with another coworker. Sometimes me and the coworker will bring dinner for each other. Mostly leftovers depending on what we made the night before. We are horrible at communicating this with each other, so there have been many shifts where we go into with and way more food than we could eat in a week. B. Absolutely nothing star for the shift time varying from 6 hours to 14 hours in length. Guest walks up and asks some questions about our pictures around the building. I give them the name of the photographer, where they're located, and a phone number. Guest then asks, "Did you guys eat dinner yet?" "We have a lot of leftover soup." My coworker replied with, "Sir, we didn't even bring dinner." Guest comes down, and he and his wife hand us a gallon ice cream pail full of the best chicken noodle soup I have ever eaten in my life. They also handed us a bag of crackers, told us to keep it all and to have a good night. Quite possibly one of the best shifts I have ever worked. Story 3. Guest either hated children existing or we had the sneakiest kids on property by Avian Aaron 17. It's been almost a year since I left my job as a FDA, and I still remember just being confused about this. The hotel was on the river, with about 10 rooms directly on the patio, and all the rooms had a little alcove outside the back door with patio furniture. At around 5 p.m., room 114 called to complain about the children in 116 and 117 connected rooms being loud, running, screaming, and just be a disturbance. Guest stated she thought children weren't allowed on patio. The owner/GM had answered the phone and corrected her, letting them know that it is our suites that children are not allowed in, that for 50-plus years children have been allowed on the patio. But she reassured her it'd be dealt with. So GM hung up and walked down to the patio area, and there were no children in sight and no noise. She hadn't stepped a foot back into the office when 114 called again, reiterating the issue with the children. FDA who answered, "So there are children running and playing outside?" "Guess there's about 3 young children running all around. I signed a disturbance policy. What about that?" So GM went back down to check after 114 hung up. We could see the walk down to the patio from the office, and it's not a long walk. Yet while she was still walking over, 114 called again. This time I answered, "Guest, I don't know what all is getting done about this. There are children running all over the patio. There's furniture overturned." She continued to state the same thing over and over. "I want something done about this," and added the children were hellions. Me, "Ma'am, a manager is on her way down," and dashed. Guest, "Oh, thank goodness." Then hung up. So when GM again went to patio, she saw that 116 and 117 had their own patio chairs turned upside down to mark where the at most 4 children were allowed to play. The area was clearly marked for the children to stay inside 116 and 177's alcoves. Our GM did let the parents in 116 and 117 know there had been a noise complaint. One of the male guests was not happy. I don't blame him, saying, "So, we paid $800 and we can't use the patio outside our back door." GM, I'm just trying to make everyone happy. You'd think after 50 years she'd know that was impossible. So she went to the door of 114, where the guest answered by cracking the door barely open. "Jim, I spoke to the guests, and it's only 5:30 p.m. The children are having fun and just being a little rambunctious. I can help you move your belongings to 122 away from the children if you'd like." Guest, no. There's a difference between being rambunctious and being a hellion. About an hour later, the other FDA walked the property and monitored patio from the breezeways. Someone was cooking on the grill, and no one was moving about the patio loudly or causing any type of disturbance. He said he did see children playing. It wasn't loud. They were playing being children. Around 4:30 a.m. that night/the next morning, 114 called stating the room next to them was being loud and coughing and smoke is coming into their room. The overnight FDA went down to patio and second floor, heard nothing while standing on both floors, did not see or smell the smoke they were talking about. 9:30 a.m., 114 called once again. Guest, those hellions in the next room are running all up and down the walkway, screaming at the top of their lungs. I could understand if they were just playing, but that is not what they're doing. Are you going to come down here and do something about it? Because my stay has been very unpleasant. I put her on hold and radioed housekeeping. Me. "Hey, housekeeping, I got a guest on hold that's saying a bunch of kids are running around down by the patio screaming." Housekeeping, I don't hear anything. Housekeeping 2. Me neither. Housekeeping 3. Nothing over here either. Housekeeping 4. We have kids staying? I went back to the phone, but 114 had already hung up. I called the room, but she didn't pick up. About 10 minutes later, 114 came to check out and didn't say anything about any of the incidents. I think she also left a review about screaming kids all night long. Can't remember and can't find it.